Greg, bye weeks are great for a lot of reasons. The chance to mentally kind of unwind a little bit, chance for guys to physically heal. The downside, though, is if you didn't necessarily have your best game the week before the bye, gives you a long time to think about the things that went wrong. And so while there are some positives with this bye week for the Huskers, what about the fallout and having to wait now, what Bo says seems like 2 months to play another game after what happened to Michigan State?
Yeah, you laid it out perfectly. You want to go into that bye feeling good so that you can kind of really enjoy it. Instead, this team has been moody, a little angry, very anxious to play, but I think that all can really benefit Nebraska for this game tomorrow. I think they'll take all those emotions to Evanston with them to go get after the Wildcats. But it was at the exact halfway point of the season, 6 games in, 6 to go. And certainly, if you watch that team toward the end of the Michigan State game, a lot of players who could have been helping us weren't playing because of various bumps and bruises. We should get most of those back for this game tomorrow, and that's the good positive part of it.
Let's run over some of those players. Kenny Bell, Brandon Riley on the offensive side, David Santos, Daniel Davey, Marcus Newby on the defensive side. Are we thinking we're going to see a lot of these guys, Santos especially?
Santos will play. Davey will play. Davey, that was a big blow because Davey goes down, and Michigan State, to their credit, the very next play went deep on Jonathan Rose, who came into the game. That's good coaching. That's a good way to do it. And Santos, who played a tremendous game against Miami. We haven't seen him since that Hurricane game. So getting both of those kids back on the defensive side of the ball will be very helpful. Kenny will play. I think Kenny's going to have to deal with this groin injury, though, the rest of the year. I think he'll gut his way through it, but don't be surprised if you're not watching this game tomorrow and Kenny Bell may limp back off the field because that's just an injury that you really need some extended period of rest. The really good news is Brandon Riley, a fast wide receiver that we haven't seen all season, is also making the trip. He gives Nebraska another guy that can really stretch the defense and maybe make some plays downfield. So I think you'll see him out of the field some tomorrow.
Couple of concepts we hear coming out of Lincoln this week. Mental toughness, Bo Pelini's saying something this team needs to work on, and execution. Maybe a hint that maybe he said too much scheming involved for the Michigan State game, not enough focus on just the fundamentals of football.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of factors that went into that game the other night. I think in some ways we didn't play relaxed enough. We played tense, tight. We wanted it so bad that we didn't execute quite right. We, got kind of locked up mentally a couple of different times in the game. But that game you could break down in a couple different segments. I love the last segment. Mm-hmm. I think all Husker fans did, and that's the last impression, that they fought back and they made it a game and they gave themselves a chance to win it late. But then I think, they're sitting in the locker room going, man, if we just had done a little bit of that early in the game, we might have won the football game. So, execution and consistency, because it's been there at times, and that's what Bo always strives for, is to try to do it repetitively. If you did it really well this play, do the same thing the next play. But again, no sports team ever plays a perfect game. Nobody in sports individually does something perfectly. So it's that's always what you strive for as an athlete, to be perfect.